Hey y'all, this is Cindy. I'm the Tireless Tangler, and you have arrived at day 90 of the 100 Days of Zentangle Project 2019. I'm having a little celebration in my head right now. Thank you guys all for coming back today. And where was I? Oh yeah, our tangle today. Well, at least I'm not paddling you like yesterday. Okay, just well, okay, let's get serious. So, our tangle for day 90 is called Brax. It's by CZT Helen Williams out of Australia. I encourage you guys to check her blog out. She is at alittlelime.blogspot.com. All right, I will try to stop laughing. That's a good change from how it was a couple of weeks back, thank God. So let's do Brax. Okay, I'm going to tell you up front, I chose this because it's organic, but it's also a grid tangle. So it is based on a square grid, and I'm going to do a small, normal version of the square grid. And I encourage you to check out Helen's art that goes with her step out. You can find the step out for this through linking to Tangle Patterns. So the next step to this is to put X's at each one of your intersecting lines. You don't want these to be too big. You want them to fit in, because you're going to add something to the tips of these, and if they're too large, then, well, you'll get something interesting, won't you? And I probably will anyway, so we're going to see what happens. Thank you all so much for all those wonderful comments you have left me, so many of them. I have not been able to stop crying long enough to answer some of them, so I want you to know I'm a couple of days behind still. But I have not forgotten you, and I have seen them all. The next step is we are going to make some little sort of ornamental, as Helen calls them, ornamental, what does she call them? Gosh, I read it like 10 minutes ago. What do you call these? I don't know. Okay, note to self. Try to do these in a consistent manner. This is really the toughest part of this, is you're going to connect each end of these X's with the midpoint of the line that they're crossing. I was a little too out. You want to give yourself a room to come back in and curl in. Okay, so let's try this again. And you can approach these in whatever order you like to do them. Helen says in her step out video that is much nicer than mine, I should probably imagine. In her video, she says herself, you know, that there are so many ways to approach this, and it does not matter whether you approach these all up and down in columns or across in rows, or whatever way you do these, it's fine, it's going to work. So let me show you the next step. Then you're going to, whichever way you're doing this, turn your paper or tile 90 degrees, and you're going to do the same thing, going the opposite direction, vertically or horizontally, or whatever the opposite direction from what you were doing was. And you want to sort of line them up like this with the edges touching. Yeah. And again, to avoid this kind of unevenness, try to make your stroke from the same direction going each way. And you can see here why I was talking about not making your X's too large. Now, I have to tell you, I'm going to go ahead and tell you as I finish this, I probably will draw this in this fashion because I won't have the overlapping line problem that I almost always do. And so I am hoping that I can start at each intersection and sort of make my lines from there. Brackets. I knew I would come up with it. These ornamental brackets. Sorry. I had a little brain flashback to right after the video started. Okay, to me, I really like drawing it like that. But now look, whoops, forgot to connect this one in the middle. Yeah, and so this is your basic grid when it's done on a square. And Helen makes quite a few really interesting suggestions, both on her blog and in the video, of how you can embellish this. There is one where she sort of does, well, that's a poor example. Hers is much prettier. Sort of an inner echo. Like that, which was really pretty. And she also aura'd, or as she called it, haloed. And that's fine. I knew what she meant right away. Yeah, and that's also really pretty for this. Now, let me show you how I love this, and this is how she likes to draw this because it's so much more interesting. Now, that's not to say that pretty square grids like this don't have their place, and a lot of people like their grids to be lined up just so, and that's absolutely fine. I know there are people out there that go either way with tidy grids or sort of crazy wonky grids like this one. I'm sort of, not sort of, but definitely copying off of Helen's. See if I can get these reasonably squarish. Yes, squarish. Love it. All right, this is my favorite kind of square grid, of course, and it's what I would call organic. Now, so this is what we would do if I were going to follow the step out, right? Like that. I would prefer, I think, to do it without the X's. So the way that I'm going to approach this is starting at the midpoint and doing it this way. My midpoints are likely to be a bit of a mess. That one was a little wimpy. Not bold and elegant the way you want it. Well, the way I want it. I have trouble going from that direction. All right. I'm just gonna, I don't know, that wasn't very elegant, was it? Okay, don't laugh while you're drawing a line, Cindy. Okay, so, and notice how these get smaller as my grid also gets smaller. All right, so I'm clearly going in what I like to call Cindy's random order. Okay, now Helen is much more elegant about the way she approaches hers in her video. Yeah. But isn't this pretty? It's just elegant. I love it. And wait until you see what shading does for it. Probably more than my lines. Again, I am working on the self-deprecating comments. I'm not doing very well. And I think I need to try harder. Oops. So you guys tell me in comments, what kind of an artist are you? Are you the kind that says I'm not an artist or I just dabble? Are you the kind that proudly stands up and squares your shoulders and says I'm an artist? Are you like me and ridiculously humble and critical of your own art? Too much so that it's irritating. And I recognize this as a fault. And recognizing it is the first step, isn't it? So let me know in comments, what's your struggle with calling yourself an artist, and what kind of artist are you? Are you hard on yourself, easy on yourself? Do you get frustrated when things don't go your way? I think we know that I do. And most people do, I think, if they're honest. It can be really difficult. So I think we can guess that this way is much sloppier for me. I think I'm much more careful in the other version. Yeah. But, you know, 6 of 1. Now, for Helen's play here, of course, my first thing is to, yes, do some little petally type hatch marks, sort of, if I can get them to go the direction my brain is telling them. That's one thing. You can add nice centers to these. And as I told you on the other one, you can aura the insides or echo them, depending on how yours comes out, which is also a really pretty look. Yeah. You can oops. It's that sideways stroke where I lose it. It being control of my pen. Helen also suggests adding a dot in the center of your negative space, which is also a nice look for it. These are just, if you can get them to work right, these are just really pretty, elegant lines. And they can be as flowery or not as you like. So here we have it in square form. And if you're not sure you can handle, and let's face it, I'm not handling this particularly well, but I know where I want to go with it. And I still think once I get used to it, it will work better for me. But let's quickly talk about shading really quickly. As we know, this is not my thing. So, of course, in the center where these little brackets come together is a good place. You can, same thing, Cindy. I really shouldn't do this in a circle. I should go out. Because when I do it in a circle, it ends up looking like it was a circle when I laid it down, and that's not very It's not very good. Let's just do this. And then when you blend, go out from the center and just decrease the pressure on your tortillon the further up you go, and you'll end up with a little highlighted area there. And if you're good at it, that's actually not bad. And really, go look at Helen's examples. Her site is so rich and full of new, fresh ideas and ways to handle tangles. You could also, by the way, you know, put graphite in the center here to give the centers a little bit of a darker look. Lots of different ideas and ways to play with this one. So let me know in comments, what are you going to do with this? You guys never answer me when I ask you these questions. Are they too tough because you haven't played with it yet? Because I know where you're coming from with that. So let me know you're out there, guys. I love hearing from you. It makes my day. You just have no idea. All right, let's get this in the pattern and see where we're at. I like it. Brax by Helen Williams. That one's particularly nice, isn't it? Let's try that one's by Borbs. Not that anyone cares where I'm putting it, and rightly so, because it's really not that interesting. Just like to be exact. All right. So the question is, how weird and how crazy and how dangerous am I going to go with this? Because it occurs to me immediately to echo this out and back, which would give us maybe something interesting. I'm going to do a curved line, sort of center from one edge down to the other. And I'm going to very carefully choose how I draw in my next ones, because I'm going to have to put a square grid. So this one, all right, I haven't lost it yet. Let's see if we can do this the other way without really messing it up. I do not want it to be too entertaining. Even though y'all probably enjoy those. They're very stressful for me. All right, I'm going to curve this way. And well, those aren't too much like a rectangle. That's good. And these should get smaller as they go. I may actually get out of this with a reasonable grid that we can actually use, that I can use. All right. That is going to be cool. All right, let's see if I can do this. Yes, I'm wimping out. And that's okay. You'll also notice these X's are extremely small. You know what my favorite comments have been, and there have been more than one of these, which is really special. And that is that you guys would miss me if I weren't part of your day. It's so nice. And I don't mean nice in that wimpy way. I mean, it's such a lovely, lovely thing. And those comments mean the world to me. I feel like you guys are a part of my day. And I feel like I'm talking to you all out there when I babble on here. Oops, I think that's one reason why I feel comfortable just, you know, sort of spewing. Don't recommend coming at these from two directions. At least I frequently have or am having a problem with them crossing in the middle. And so mine are a little misshapen, but that's all right. I wanted them to be sort of wonky, or I would not have drawn the grid the way that I did. I keep wanting to attach these in the middle here. Really, go look at Helen's examples. They are so beautiful. And I was so determined to do a wonderful job with this, and oops. And oops. But it is pretty, isn't it? And the potential is certainly there for you guys with the beautiful lines. I know you're there. Thanks for watching. By the way, if I'm playing Tangle Tab with my Tangle Tab, oh, I can't say that either. Tangle Tag is a game that Zentangle has started in the Mosaic community and on social media, where tanglers, they could be from the same area. In my case, I'm playing with my CZT class. It's a game where one tangler starts the tag game by making a tile with one, oops, I should have made that smaller. By making a tile with one tangle on it, and then tagging the next person. And the next person uses the same tangle as the first person, and then adds a second. And so I was tagged third, thank God, because I think we know what would have happened if I'd been further down the list. That would have been a nightmare. So I finally finished mine, so you can check my tile creation out, at least the line art right now. I'm about to, as I'm doing this, I'm about to upload it on Saturday. It may not be there till Sunday. We'll see how exhausted I am. By the way, let me just say, for those of you who don't live in our area, in my area, which is the Midwestern United States, I'm in Oklahoma, and I know there are some from Texas and some from Kansas, which are neighboring states that are also, can I just say, it's stinking hot. Oh my God. All right, I'm zenning out. I'll stop now. So I think I'm going to try aura-ing and sort of emphasizing the little centers here where these petal shapes come together. I'm just going to ink in a little circle, little dot. That has a couple of nice features to it. One is it covers up any stray lines you've got laying around out there. And two, it covers up any stray lines you've got right there. And if that's not a good reason, I don't know what is. All right, but I think what else I'm going to do is aura these inner shapes. I think that's so pretty. If I can do it without too much craziness. And then maybe putting a little dot in there. Oh, pretty. Pretty. All right, let's get busy. See if I can do this before it's time to go get the little one. All right, so there's going to be a few changes coming around, but hopefully they'll be great ones and you will like them. My goal is to continue every day, but I'm thinking that we will maybe have something a little bit different every day. It'll still be tangling and all of that, but I really have a couple of ideas I want to try, and I again encourage those of you who are pattern creators, i.e. deconstructors, if you have a pattern, whether it's been published or not by whoever or not, and you'd love to have somebody explore that, we'd love to do that here. I would love to do that, since I'm the only one here right now. But that's okay. It's turning out really nicely. I bet when we add the shading, it'll either get really, really, really busy or get pretty. Or maybe the inside auras were a little bit much. She also suggested that you can make an X across. So I don't think that's going to work very well for my situation where my innards are sort of hanging out. But let's shade this. And I bet when I add, let's see where shading gets us. See whether it's a mess or a help here. Don't forget to go check out my video on IGTV. I'm using Chris Gerstner's Cirque because it really is one of my very favorite patterns. And I used that in our Tangle tag. That's where I was going with that whole conversation. You know, it's no wonder the child face palms himself all the time when I talk, but still, it's not very nice. Because he's not the first manipulative kid I've dealt with. And, you know, in all honesty, I was the most manipulative kid I've ever dealt with. And I was pretty manipulative, so I'm a tough nut. You caught me, I can't find it. So we're gonna use this big honking paper stump. Paper stump. Yes, big honking, that's elegant language from Cindy to you. Because I might have sung in the opera in Germany, but I am still a country girl at heart. And I can't decide which one I'm more proud of, so. Alright. Ooh. This is growing on me, you know? The shading helped us a lot. Well, I'm definitely going to do another shading pass on this and really emphasize the center here. But I love the way this turned out. tell me in comments what you guys think of this tangle. I have always loved Helen's patterns because the organic nature of them really appeals to me, so I'll be really curious to hear what you guys think of her patterns. And she has some really pretty art on her website on her blog about taiga becoming trees, and it is gorgeous, so check that out. I like it. I will probably add a lot more shading here and make this sort of bulge out, but for a first run, I like how it turned out. Let me know what you guys think about this in comments. Let me know you're out there. I'd love to give you a shout out, so tell me where you're from, and if I can manage to remember your name, I will say hi. Oh my gosh, you guys are the best people ever. That is day 90, Brax by Helen Williams, and I'm going to see you for our last 9 days tomorrow. Keep in touch with me on Instagram, @the Tireless Tangler is my tag, and I will be announcing our giveaway, hopefully there, and in the community tab here on my site. So I'm not sure exactly how that works. I'm exploring all of the new options now available. So thank you for being with me for day 90, and I will see you tomorrow.